What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, and what a lovely Sunday it is today, and what a lovely Saturday, even better, what it was yesterday. And we're going to get into all the nitty-gritty of the game yesterday and everything else as well.
First time that Arsenal have lost and we've won in the same week. Because they've only lost one other game.
When they lost to Liverpool, didn't we win that weekend?
I think we lost to Bournemouth that same weekend.
Did we lose to Bournemouth that weekend?
So...
Happy days, mate.
We haven't had this.
Absolutely happy days.
In a long time. And Arsenal lost and Spurs win. It's been a while.
We'll give you a reaction. A lot to talk about regarding the game yesterday. And, you know, I think most Spurs fans, majority of Spurs fans, are in an absolutely brilliant mood this lovely Sunday. But apologies, because we're going to have to bring the mood down temporarily at the start of this stream to talk about Mr. Yves Bissouma, because he has been, well, he's been caught out filming himself doing laughing gas once again. There was a report in The Sun yesterday saying that Tottenham have said they have launched a probe after footage has emerged of Yves Bissouma using nitrous oxide balloon at a party. Bissouma was suspended for a one-match ban by Spurs for a similar incident last year, but is now facing the prospect of tougher disciplinary action. We saw last week that Yves Bissouma removed all kind of Tottenham-related posts from his Instagram, and we know that he's had various amounts of suspensions from Tottenham Hotspur before. Last season was that, you know, first balloon gate #1, and this season Thomas Frank suspended him for, you know, multiple late showings to training, and now this is another kind of thing on a growing list for Yves Bissouma. He does only have 6 months left in his contract, and it did feel like at the beginning of the season Spurs were desperately trying to sell him in the summer and he didn't have a future. Well, if there was any thought of him trying to fight his way back in the team once he does return for injury, I think this has put the final nail in the coffin. Absolute disgrace, man, Yves Bissouma. Like, what are you doing? Like, seriously, you're a Premier League footballer. To do it once, like to do it once, you're like, all right, you're an absolute disgrace. What you're doing is a brain dead moment. But to do it again, twice, what are you thinking? Like, this man is a serious disgrace to professionalism and to professional sport. I'm sorry.
I think there's even suggestions we could rip up his contract at this point, but it's ridiculous. I think for me, it's just how stupid can you be recording yourself? There's one thing like doing it privately or whatever, and like this bad enough. Obviously you shouldn't be doing it as a professional footballer, but you know, look, I'm not going to tell him what to do, but recording it and posting it, I don't know who posted it online, if it was him or a friend or whatever it is, but allowing himself to be recorded off the back of, you know, you've had suspension already for this, and then getting it leaked, and all of a sudden he's now facing having potentially his contract ripped up or of severe suspension. I think it's just so dumb. Like, have some sense. Like, if you're going to do it, don't record yourself. How hard is it? Why do you have to show everyone that you're doing it? I don't understand. Why are you recording it with your phone? I understand everyone's got a phone, everyone's got a camera, and you know, these things happen, but I just don't understand. You, like, once is a mistake, and whatever, it happened, it was terrible then, but like, to let it happen again, I think maybe he just doesn't give a shit. Maybe he doesn't care. Maybe he wants his contract like ripped up. Like, maybe he thinks he can get a payoff from Tottenham and get his contract ripped up, and he can be a free agent. Maybe that's what he's trying to do. Maybe he just doesn't care. And we've seen, as you said, all his Spurs mentions on Instagram have now been removed. So I wonder if that's off the back of either the club telling him, look, you're done here. We're not even going to allow you a chance to fight your way back, or even when you are fit. So, you know, we're going to try and force you out in January. Maybe it's the club saying, we don't want you associated with us. Please remove everything. Maybe it's them telling him that, or maybe it's him being obviously like after hearing the news from Tottenham saying you're done. He was like, okay, well, fuck you, basically, and I'm not a Tottenham player anymore. I don't know exactly the ins and outs of what's been happening behind the scenes, but all I do know is how brain dead can you be to do it again? You know,
the guy has got such immense talent. We've seen it before on the pitch. You know, it's such a waste of a career. Look, it hasn't gone right ever since joining Tottenham. We've seen him perform on moments, you know, first 10 games of Ange, a couple of, the Europa League run towards the end last season. I thought he was pretty good, but it's just been too few and far between for the amount of talent that the boy does have. But you're looking at Bissouma moving forward and past Tottenham. Like, when people start seeing these misdemeanors, like, Ange criticising him coming late to training, Thomas Frank suspending him for coming late to training, 2 balloon incidents as well, like, what serious club is even going to take him on after all that? You know what I mean? He's going to probably end up... Where's he going to end up? Saudi, Turkey, someone like that. Like, he's not going to play at another top club in Europe, I'll tell you that.
In the summer, the only clubs that were real close to him were clubs in Turkey anyway, and now this has happened. So, yeah, it seems as though he's not going to have a queue of clubs lining up for him at this point to take him on, despite the fact that we know on his day he's a fantastic player, but unfortunately he gets in his own way, I think, and that's the reality.
Yves Bissouma tripping in for Yves Bissouma up, that's it's a shame. It's a big shame because, when he signed for Tottenham, we all had such high hopes for him, and we all thought that, we're signing one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. That's what he was showing at Brighton. But it's just been a terrible signing, all in all, unfortunately, and I think it's right for Spurs to rip up this contract in January unless they can get some money in from a Turkish team or something. But yeah, we all know his Spurs career, if it wasn't done before, it's most definitely done now, that's for sure.
THFCK says Marseille. They do like to sign these rejects with players who are known to have bad attitudes and all this kind of stuff. Well, you know what? If there's one club maybe that would take him on in the top league, maybe it is them.
He didn't play for De Zerbi, did he?
No.
He played for Potter.
Potter, yeah.
Yeah, look, I can't even see someone like De Zerbi wanting him, to be honest. I really can't. Maybe in the history of Marseille they'd be looking to take him on, but I just can't see it, mate. I just can't see it. I think it's time that this chapter gets closed. Look, I've been calling for his sell for quite some time now, and it's just got worse and worse and worse. That's the reality.
Yeah, he needs to get out of this club. At the end of the day, I haven't even felt like he's been part of the club for a while now, to be honest, anyway. So I don't know if he hasn't been in training. Look, maybe he's not even injured. Maybe he's been banished. Who knows? But at the moment...
Yeah, look, he wasn't called up to the last international break. So that suggests that there is an injury there. And we saw him go off with an injury in the previous international break to that. So, look, I do think there's been an injury there, but he's just an idiot. There's no other word to describe him than just being an idiot, unprofessional, and he has no place in the Premier League, I don't think.
But he also must not be in a good place, like himself. So I do kind of feel for him because he's been, surplus to requirements. No one's coming in for him. He's got a bad injury as well. He's gone from, as you say, being one of the top midfielders or one of the most sought-after midfielders in the league. And ever since coming to Tottenham, he's shown patches of form, but never really got going. And now he's completely surplus to requirements at Tottenham. No one seems to want him. No one seems to be coming in for him as well. And for a player of his talent, that should never be the case. But at the end of the day, he has to look at himself.
Yeah, exactly. Look, this is like we said. This isn't a new thing. This isn't a new thing with Yves Bissouma. So I couldn't understand it, but I could kind of let it go if it was just one thing to go off. But it's just a long list of things with Yves Bissouma now. And with 6 months left in his contract come January, it won't actually even be that expensive for Spurs to just rip that contract up. So we'll see what happens when January comes around. I'm sure... I don't know. I don't even know if he's going to be going to the AFCON and if he's fit enough to go or not. But we'll wait and see what happens. But for me... with Yves Bissouma, it's just time. It's just time, and it's probably been time for a long time. So
I think if it was up to Spurs, he would have gone last summer. Like, I don't think it's for the want of trying.
Yeah, absolutely. But nobody wants to take him. The only clubs that came in for Turkey, he didn't want to go to Turkey. He thought he was, a bit better than that. And in terms of his talent, he is. But, a player comes as a whole package, not just your talent. So, yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, he's played his last game for Tottenham. We all know that. So whether he gets ripped up or not, he's not going to be part of the squad or playing for us anytime. Again, that's it.
Very true. Very true. So that is the Yves Bissouma situation. Unfortunately, this is what happens. We're going to move